Picture your brain's immune cells, the microglia, as the disciplined health nuts of the neural world. They're supposed to be the ones on a strict diet, carefully burning energy, cleaning up toxins, sweeping out misfolded proteins, and making sure neurons live in a sparkling, clean environment. They're the CrossFit coaches of the brain. Always moving, always alert, always talking about how much better you'll feel if you stay balanced. That's the ideal version. But in the case of Alzheimer's, the story looks very different. Instead of sticking to their healthy plan, microglia fall off the wagon in spectacular fashion. They go from being lean, mean, protein-clearing machines to sluggish couch potatoes weighed down with fat they can't seem to stop hoarding. What happens is this. Microglia normally use fatty acids as fuel, burning them for energy to stay sharp. But under the stress of amyloid plaques, they start stockpiling these fats instead, converting them into triglycerides and stuffing themselves with lipid droplets. Imagine someone going on a diet, but instead of eating balanced meals, they hide candy bars in every drawer, under the couch cushions, even in their shoes. Eventually, they're not functioning anymore because they're buried in their own stash. That's essentially what microglia are doing. They've got a snack problem, and it's undermining their ability to protect the brain. The good news is that this problem isn't permanent. Researchers discovered that the culprit behind this fat hoarding is an enzyme called DGAT2, which acts like the sneaky saboteur at the back of the pantry. DGAT2 takes perfectly useful fatty acids and insists on converting them into long-term fat storage. It's like that friend who comes over during your diet and says, "Come on, just one more slice of cake, it won't hurt." Only in this case, it really does hurt because the microglia get so overloaded that they stop clearing away toxic proteins altogether. But here's the breakthrough. When scientists inhibited DGAT2 or helped break it down, the microglia suddenly came back to life. They lost the fat, regained their energy, and got back to doing what they were born to do, defending the brain. And this is where the story gets positive. For decades, Alzheimer's research has felt like banging on a locked door. Scientists focus so intensely on plaques and tangles that they overlooked the fact that the brain's own defenders had simply gotten tired and bloated. This new perspective is a huge shift. It tells us the system isn't fundamentally broken, it's just out of balance. And balance, as we know from our own bodies, can be restored. The fact that microglia bounce back once you take the fat away is profoundly hopeful. It means the brain is resilient. It means even in the midst of disease, the immune system remembers how to protect itself. It just needs a little metabolic reset. There's also something comforting in how relatable this is. We all know what it's like to try and fail at diets. We've all had those moments where one bad habit snowballs into feeling sluggish, weighed down, and less capable. Microglia are no different. They're not villains, they're just overwhelmed by too much fat. And just like us, when you give them the right support, they can find their rhythm again. That makes the science feel less alien, less like a hopeless battle against mysterious proteins, and more like a problem we can understand, empathize with, and actually solve. Even better, this discovery doesn't just change how we think about Alzheimer's, it may ripple out to other brain conditions linked to inflammation and aging. If lipid metabolism plays such a central role in microglial health, therapies that restore this balance could protect the brain across multiple diseases. It's not just about curing one illness, it's about giving the brain a general tune-up, making its immune system stronger, more efficient, and more capable of handling whatever comes its way. So yes, microglia might be failing miserably at their diet right now, but the point is they can get back on track. And the way forward doesn't look impossible, it looks practical. Instead of creating drugs that nuke the brain's biology from the outside, we can develop therapies that nudge these cells into a healthier state from within. That's not just effective science, it's encouraging science. It tells us that Alzheimer's is not an untouchable mystery, but a condition with weak points we can address in smart, humane ways. At the end of the day, the story of microglia and fat accumulation is more than just biochemistry. It's a story about resilience. Even when cells stumble, even when they get bogged down by their own excess, they still hold the capacity to recover. And that makes the whole field of research feel a little less like doom and a little more like possibility. Maybe the brain's diet isn't perfect. Maybe it fails sometimes. But failure doesn't mean the end. It just means the chance to reset, rebuild, and come back stronger.